Good morning, scientists. This is Mr. Overholt with the Winston-Salem Forsyth County Schools Science Department. Let's take a look at the outside and see what our observations of the sky are. We have a pretty much completely covered sky, so we're going to call that a stratus cloud. However, you can see that there's kind of bumps in there, and you can see a little bit of blue behind it. So we got a little bit bluish green. So we're going to take a little bit of talk about what that looks like in a minute. Looking at Moore Magnet Elementary in the heart of Winston-Salem Forsyth County Schools. Currently, we're at 44 degrees Fahrenheit. Any winds happening out there? What's interesting, 24-mile-an-hour gusts overnight. That's pretty stout. 69% humidity. That puts it being kind of in the middle, so not crazy cloudy out there today. We saw that in the observation. We do have some stratus out there, but they were not a straight stratus. We know that there's three main types of clouds with the stratus, cirrus, and the cumulus. But these ones were a little bit. There's also other things that are added to that. We know prefixes and suffixes of words change definitions. There are prefixes and suffixes that are added to cloud types, which alter their description a little bit. So I believe these were probably would be called an alto cirrus or an alto stratus cloud today, because it is the blanket type. However, it talks about the different heights that they have, which is the alto, not being the highest, not being the lowest. So we have something out there in a mid stratus that we have, and it has a little bit of the different colors and textures to it. So we saw that they were kind of bumpy today. The main three types that fifth graders need to learn about is just those uh, the root words, the heart of this, which is the cirrus, the stratus, and the cumulus. We haven't had any precipitation in the last 24 hours, and we have this air pressure. The barometer is reading at 30 and 2600 inches of mercury, and is rising slowly, rising slowly. So we should see things clearing with the rising of that today, and especially with when we have our humidity at 68%. Um, got a couple. This is ours from this morning, 44 degrees. Our pressure was there. Our winds, I will look and see if our wind direction is on there. I think I need to change that to the south, but we'll check that in a little bit. And we have clouds. We're going to change this one to cloudy. And we're going to call it cool and clear. Let's call it cool and clear because I think that's where we see cool and cloudy. Yeah, let's call it that. All right, so let's go into look at our maps. Um, it's kind of crazy to look at. It's interesting that we have H's across all of the United States. We've got H. We've got H's here and here. So when we look at the windy map, you're going to see there's a little bit of a change in the wind pattern around this one and a wind pattern around this one. We're going to see how they are moving as they go across. Why are we cooler today? Look at this right here. We've got a cold front. It almost looks like there's a secondary one there. So that's what we had come through yesterday. We saw our winds pick up yesterday. We felt like it got a little cooler yesterday, and it's because that cold front came through, bringing that colder air in from the north. We got some high pressures all the way across. Um, we're going to see something interesting. Which direction is it that our jet stream flows? Yeah, we know that our jet stream flows from the west to east, which drives our weather in that direction. So when we look at the winds, you're going to see something kind of interesting with that today. Um, so we have the cold front that's passed through. We've got occluded all through here. We've got some warm and some cold kind of mixing in together because of the way that these pressures are. But here's the question. We've got a high pressure and a high pressure. Why do we have this precipitation in there? Why is there precipitation in there? So let's take a look and see what we can figure out and see what we can see is going to happen over the next couple days with all this high pressure that's on us. And is this rain coming to us tomorrow? Normally, I would look at this and see that it's in Tennessee, and I would say that this generally going to track straight over to us. But the winds are doing, and those pressures are doing something interesting today. So here's our map. Let's start with pressure because as we finished talking about with the other one, we see that we've got a piece of high pressure here, a dark spot, and another one here. Look at the way that these, see that there's not any winds in the center, but we have the winds coming out and they spiral away from us, spiraling clockwise. We have the same thing happening here. So we actually have two high pressure systems and there's a lull in the middle. So if we think about this as high pressure squeezing all the moisture out, high pressure squeezing the moisture out, where is that moisture that is being squeezed out going to go? It's going to go right in the middle. And that's kind of why we see that there is some precipitation happening. It's between these two high pressure systems. That's the interesting thing. So when you have these winds coming out of the high pressure coming in this direction and coming in this direction, um, we see that winds are going from the southeast to the northwest. And that's not something we see very often as we start to look at wind movement, that it actually seems to be moving um, to the north and to the west. So that's kind of interesting as we see that pattern. As we look at our temperatures, we still see what we have here. I'll bet you if we were increase our winds to see where our jet stream is, I think our jet stream is probably sitting right across this location here, which is going to coincide with these fronts that you see up across the northern United States. Um, so we're looking at that. Um, let's look and see what we have for our cloud cover today. Let me see there. Let's look at our clouds and see what it tells us and what we see out there. We're at 29% covered. Well, that's not, we saw a little bit greater than that today. Um, but let's walk it forward throughout the timeline of today to this afternoon, and we should clear out. And that's what that high pressure system is. So with the clearing out of the sky, we're noticing also with the clouds, because of that high pressure and having the winds swirl in a clockwise fashion, is it's drawing up moisture from the Gulf of Mexico up into Oklahoma, Arkansas, and Texas. We've seen this pattern before. Um, but with that secondary high pressure system up here causing some things, it's drawing in more air coming across in here. And that's just pretty dry. It's coming across these desert states of New Mexico and Arizona. So it's causing the dry to come there. That's what's behind with the high pressure up in there, too. It's behind that there. So let's come in here and look at rain and thunder. And we see that moisture that's there. And let's go ahead and see what's going to happen tomorrow morning. Tomorrow late morning, see what happens to that moisture. Okay, so it dissipates some because of that pressure, but it keeps on trucking across. Here's our high pressure is on us again still tomorrow. Look at all this wind going in this northwest, northwest direction. That's very strange to see because of all that high pressure that's out here. High pressure sitting over Michigan into Ontario here. And just out of fun, let's march it through to Thursday. It looks like that rain that we had just kind of disappears. It gets squeezed out as it comes across the mountains there. So it doesn't look like we're going to see much of that coming. But it looks like the north is going to be picking up this moisture that's coming, is going all the way up into Canada. This is Canada up here, ladies and gentlemen. So we're seeing it go up there. Yeah. So let's keep our eyes to the sky. Let's watch what's happening out there. Enjoy this nice weather we have. It's going to have some warm up coming, and we'll see what happens. Have a great day. Stay healthy, and don't forget, we do science well.